As we all know, the very first episode of the new Hitman game came out just a couple of days ago on March the 11th, and while there has been quite a few positive things said about the new Hitman game, sadly there have been a fair few complaints as well, and the loudest, as far as I'm seeing on the subreddit as well as on the Hitman forums, is the always online aspect. If you head on over to the subreddit, which is pretty much r/Hitman, so what you'd expect, you will see a recurring theme in some of the threads, including one with about 192 comments at the time of recording, which is basically saying that if you're playing the game offline, you cannot complete challenges, so you won't be able to unlock any new weapons, gadgets, entry points, or anything like that to use during the level. And let's say you're playing, you're having fun in your game, you're doing whatever, and then the server goes offline or you get kicked out or whatever. Sometimes these things do happen, and it's not necessarily something to do with you. It could just be because the server had a hiccup or whatever. The starter of this particular thread I'm referring to, which I will link in the description below by the way, reads, quote, "I was level 11 before the server went offline. I lost all of the unlocks and I'm back to the generic starting gear. It's unacceptable and we should be able to retain all of the unlocks we earned during online mode for offline use." It does seem a strange decision to try to lock single player progress to online connectivity. I mean, you can't even make the argument for leaderboards, really, like potential for leaderboard cheating. Well, if that were an issue, you could simply disqualify scores with offline portions, and I'm sure most people would prefer to look, if I get kicked off, yeah, I'm not going to have certain features that are exclusive to the online mode, that's fine, but I should be able to still make progress and continue with my unlocks that I already got online. The fact that it doesn't transfer over to the offline mode seems to be the issue here, and that is not really good. And well, if you head on over to the Hitman forums, there is actually a poll which simply reads, "Should Hitman run offline?" And I'll link that in the description below this video as well. And as you'd expect, the reply seemed to be a resounding yes, of course. Why was it not available to run offline at launch? And this is a pretty big problem, to be honest. Yes, you can play the game offline. It's not like it kicks you out to the menu, but you lose all your progress. You cannot use any of the things you unlocked online, and that doesn't even make any sense in my mind. I do wonder what IO Interactive were thinking, and I really hope they get this sorted soon, because this seems to be a pretty big thorn in the sides of people trying to play Hitman currently. And the next thing is regarding the PC version of Hitman. And there is another Reddit thread, which I'll link in the description below. Lots of links for you today. Basically, Hitman on the PC will lock your graphics options based on your hardware. And the creator of this thread helpfully included some screenshots. Again, that'll be a link in the description below. And it gives you a peek at how the option menu looks with a single GTX 780, which of course has 3 gigs of VRAM. And as you can see, the texture quality menu has been selected on the very first screenshot, and high is actually physically grayed out, so you could not even try to run it on high and perhaps tweak like the shadows or whatever or anything else. And you'll also notice in some of the other screenshots that higher resolutions like 4K or even 2K will be locked on a lower end GPU. Now obviously it's not exactly a shocker that higher end resolution textures need more VRAM, and that you might not necessarily be able to run this game at maximum on a lower end GPU. That's nothing new, but as far as my knowledge goes, this is one of the very first instances that this stuff is actually locked out. You cannot even try to do this. So say for example this was pretty much any other game ever, you could perhaps tweak around. You could perhaps say set the texture quality to high, but maybe set the shadow resolution to low, or the level of detail down to medium, or something like that. That's usually what you do. You just sort of tweak around till you get a setup that you're happy with, that is good for your GPU and of course your preferred frame rate. Now you might be wondering, well, if you've got a lower end GPU, why do you care that 4K is locked out? Well, yeah, they probably wouldn't be able to play at 4K, but some people just like to get into that 4K mode just to take screenshots and, just kind of look at it for a second and go, wow, that looks pretty, and then quit out of it so they can actually get a proper frame rate. They should be able to do that. There's no reason to lock it off. It's not doing the game any harm. They're obviously not going to play it like that because it would be unplayable if you don't have a powerful enough system. So basically, we have a case of if you have a certain setup with a lower end GPU, certain options will be greyed out, and according to this user's testing, now of course this is only one user, so do keep that in mind, borderless window seems to not work on DirectX 12, which is really strange, to be quite honest. So yeah, the PC version has a few problems as well, so do bear in mind that if you have a lower end GPU, you are pretty much barred from tweaking certain things. You can't do super sampling, you can't have high-end texture quality, you can't even try it and then perhaps tweak, as you pretty much can in every game ever. So yeah, a couple of things for IO to resolve there. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Hitman game. I haven't actually played it myself yet, probably will be doing so soon, or maybe Paul. Somebody will at some point, I'm sure. Thank you very much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see you next time.